recording, feed, roll, sound. Season 2, Music and Mental Health, 2020 in this bitch. We cuss on this podcast, just for all the kiddies out there.
Get after it. We do what we do because we do what we've done.
I don't know what I'm getting wrong, the others get in the way.
I can't live my
See, we did do that.
I can't live my
For those of you that don't know, are out there listening, this is the second time we're starting.
If you
this
don't
today.
know, now you know.
No Jerry Browns in the house. Silence your phones, ladies and gentlemen. Silence your phones.
GB the Gov.
Shout outs to the homie Phoenix calling me right now. Voyager Fleet member. The Voyager Fleet has direct access
let's get
to me.
started
How
with
long is that gonna last? I don't know. Let's find out. But homie Phoenix is calling me right now. Shout out to Phoenix, who is a big fan of the Music and Mental Health podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Just want to make sure things don't go out around here. Always ash before you pass.
Ash before you pass to the left. Spank that ass
Don't do it too fast.
to the right.
So lately, I'm listening to a lot of Thelonious Monk.
Thelonious Monk.
Let's just be real. A lot of Thelonious Monk, a lot of Blue Monk. I may have briefly mentioned in the past, I have a secret playlist out there that's available. It's public. It's on YouTube. It's for jazz giants. It's live gold. It's live jazz. And Thelonious Monk has a very sick feature on this playlist. There's 37 concerts from all over the world of jazz artists. We were watching the Thelonious Monk video the other night even, and that has been resonating with me.
1959. Swiss Alps.
That's right. You know, when I said Swiss Alps, I was kind of just fucking around. They are in Switzerland. I don't know if they were at the Swiss Alps.
Well, I know Switzerland well, so
Well, maybe they were at the Alps.
I don't know. It was inside. You
Wherever
said
they
Alps,
were, the
but it
footage
definitely
is
was in Switzerland.
amazing, and the music is amazing. Thelonious Monk is one of my all-time favorites. Thelonious Monk, ladies and gentlemen, Blue Monk. Don't you ever forget it. One of the greatest musicians of all time. Piano player, a man of an amazing mind, a man of an amazing persona, a jazz giant. That's all I can say about that. Blue Monk is where you start. And my friend, what have you been listening to, Mr. David?
Well, man, I could have a lot of answers to that question. I listen to a lot of stuff every day, but recently, without getting too specific, I just been listening to a lot of you. And that's a beautiful thing, man. It makes me emotional. But aside from our partnership, let's see. What have I been listening to? I recently got back on that Cali Uchis. Riding around my car's low.
Groovy stuff.
It's a real vibe. It's a real vibe, right?
I love her project.
It's a real vibe.
I've always been a fan.
The new Eminem has come out since we did this last. Eminem got me started. 11 years old. Hi, my name is. That's what started me on music. Eminem introduced me to Dr. Dre and to hip hop and all of that. That's my entry point.
Shout outs Chicka Chicka Slim Haley.
Yeah.
A Voyager Fleet member.
That's cool too.
Slim Haley. She's dope.
That's dope. She's
Shout
also got the daughter's name. That's cool too. But anyway,
She's a big M fan.
that album slaps. Much like Kanye, there's never really been an Eminem album that I didn't like, but some are better than others. But this one slaps, man. And Royce da 5'9", he might be the most underrated rapper that I know, or artist just of in general. That dude is wicked talented.
Bars. Big bars.
But not just bars, man. There's a couple real hooks, a couple real melodies from him on that album. And You Gonna Learn, unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Yeah. So I've been bumping that a lot. I like that Jack Boys a lot, too.
Jack Boys is riding.
Anything Metro Boomin', man.
Jack Boys is riding.
Anything Metro Boomin'. Or anything in the Metro Boomin' vein. What's that? The Had Enough. I
You
know we
think
both
you
like
had
that.
enough.
Sing it, man. I can't sing
I
it.
know
sing
you
it.
had enough. Oh. I've thought about covering that. I love that song so much.
You should, man. It's great. I love that whole vibe. That's got to be. Is
Banging.
that a sample or they did that?
That's a song. That's an original melody, an original beat. No samples.
No, but in the beginning, there's a sample for sure. I think.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, isn't that interesting? I find that there's these producers sometimes that they're kind of like sampling themselves. If that makes sense.
Well, that's what a good artist does.
Yeah.
A good artist samples themselves.
Well, shit.
A good artist replicates their genius. But a bad fan expects an artist to always do that. A good fan allows the artist to recreate what is known as their genius.
Uh-huh.
A bad fan is someone who gets mad and criticizes the artist when the artist chooses to venture outside of what is expected of their creative material and what they present on a pedestal. It's like, hey, Van Gogh, I want to see some Van Gogh.
Right. Dance monkey.
Yeah, and that's the terrible part about it.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
Don't you
I often
ever
find,
call me a monkey.
I find that I'm not even going to dignify that. I find that when I meet artists, actually the most beautiful part of it is when I sort of like experience the raw creativity. So a lot of people like want to go to the show and they want to hear the hit. And I respect that. There's nothing wrong with hits. I like hits. But like I kind of want to see you do something that surprises you, you know? That's cool. That's like that raw natural ability. That like, you know, can you do something else? Like you said, like I wanted to do that cover. Well, like when you do a cover, it's like I don't know. I've been listening. There's a really good Halsey Juice World cover. R.I.P. It's very sad, but and Halsey does the Lucid Dreams, and dude, it's so powerful, man.
It's the rawness that makes it powerful.
It's raw, yeah. It's like it's not overproduced. It's not like all these people are in the pie and making too many chefs. It's just like she just took this song and just loved it artistically, you know, and did it. And I think that's really cool. It's like so selfless to do a cover in a way too, which I like about it.
I love Juice World so much.
Do you like that Godzilla? You like that the Eminem Juice World joint?
I need to hear it again.
Eminem kind of spazzes out on it. I think they have to count it up, but I think it's going to be the world record for the world's fastest verse or most words per second or whatever. They're talking about that. Guinness is like counting it or whatever. But it takes them forever to count it.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
You know,
amazing.
you got to give it to Eminem. You got to respect Eminem for what he does, what he's capable of, what he's done, what he's doing.
Unbelievable, man. Shout out to
Still
my
going.
cousin Jeff. Got me started on Eminem at age like 11. Hi, kids. Do you like violence? I was that fucking kid, man, for sure.
You liked violence. Is that what you're saying?
I've actually gotten more passive as I got older. But yeah, sure. Of course, I was a kid. I liked, you know, guns and action movies and Eminem.
Remember when
And
you were a
porn.
kid and these images that were dubbed as viewer discretion advised
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sensitive to
Oh,
you
man.
know someone who wasn't 18, like, you know, even video games or
One
and
year-
for mature. Remember how there was a real limit.
Yeah, there was
on what
it
you
was a
could
real
see.
thing. It was a real thing. And my grandmother one year, R.I.P., my mom's mom, she my mom had asked me for a wish list for Christmas, you know. I was a very privileged child. And so one of the things that I included on the wish list, probably like 16 video games, and then the new Juvenile album, because I'd heard Back That Thing Up, and I was like, this dude's got the thing. I didn't even know what I was talking about. I just loved it. You know, I was just like, damn, that's amazing. And dude, that song to this day is so formative in rap music, which is interesting. And I put that on the wish list, and I guess my grandmother was helping my mom or something, because she went to Target. Used to go to Target to buy CDs. That's how it worked. And she went to Target and asked for the Juvenile album, and she's like, yeah, it's a Christmas present for my grandson. And they're like, ma'am, how old is he? And she's like, 11. And they're like,
goodness gracious.
and they're like, no, I don't think this is for an 11-year-old. You know, this
Yeah, they
is
censored you.
very inappropriate. But I wasn't even with her. You know,
They flagged you.
she was just buying it for Christmas.
Yeah.
And she came home and told my mom, and then my mom told me, and I like lost my shit. I was so mad. I was like, you can't control me, and this is art and all this shit. You know, I was
Did you end up getting the Juvenile album?
absolutely
How long did it take to get it? It's from that.
not that long.
So you didn't get it that Christmas when you were expecting to get
I
it?
actually might have, because this was in advance of Christmas.
Okay, so you
where she
found
came
out
and told
ahead
me.
of time that
Yeah.
Santa didn't bring it,
Right.
aka Grandma,
Right.
because they told Grandma that
And actually,
Walmart was like, no, you can't listen to it. He's too young.
actually, the frustrating part was
No, you can't.
my
listen to
mom
it.
was actually super chill with that kind of stuff, but her mom was a lot more conservative, and so the fact that that's how it came down was the problem, and that's why I was so pissed off, because my mom didn't really care that much. There's a song that I can't repeat very much of, but it's DMX and Cisco. You know that song? What These Bitches Want? Yeah. There was Linda, Felicia, Brenda, Letitia, Dawn, LaShawn, Inez, and Felicia. Cookie, met her in an ice cream parlor. Yeah. But anyway, it says the N-word a lot in it. And I can remember one time, I don't know how old I was, but young, and this song was just blasting in my room. You know, I was just into it. And my mom came in and she's like, do you know what that word means? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, it's like a really bad word. And I was like, yeah, no, I know what it means. Like, everybody says that word. And she's like, no, like,
Of course, I'm not laughing at the
that's
word.
a really bad word.
I'm laughing at this picture in my head. It just sounds
And like,
way
I didn't
too
really
funny.
get it, you know, because I said bad words all the time. I was like, yeah, no, like, it's like, fuck, whatever, you know. And she's like, no, like, this is a serious word, you know. And I was like, it was just interesting how life is framed through music sometimes, like
Yeah,
that, you
and
know?
I was gonna say, isn't it interesting how hip hop and rap has really changed the use of that word?
I think it's cool. They've taken ownership of it, you know. Like, I know. Look, there's people feel differently about the word. Even inside the rap community, there's debate about whether it should be used and how much it should be used and who should use it and all these things. But I think it's cool that it's sort of been taken back in a lot of ways, you know, and evolved. Right? It's the A. It's not the ER. It's evolved. Like, I think that's dope.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is an interesting subject.
Sure is.
Let's talk about it since we're here. I think that, or let me ask you this before I tell you what I think. Let's say no one in the hip hop or rap industry ever used that word before.
Mhm.
Let's just say that
Mm-hmm.
you take all the songs where it's used and you just
It says
Replace it.
ninja or something.
something else.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have that connection, so it
Yeah,
couldn't,
yeah,
it couldn't be ninja because then people wouldn't know what people are trying to say. Something that has no direct connection, right?
Got it. Okay.
Almost like a alternative, whatever. So, anyways, let's say that was the case. All right,
Mhm.
and you didn't hear it through Juvenile as an 11-year-old kid,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and your mother coming in to have that conversation with you one-on-one.
Yeah.
Let's say that never happened. How do you think the word would be weighed now?
If hip hop hadn't adopted the word, is that what you're saying?
Yes. As you
Um,
yes.
I think it would be seen more in a Mark Twain kind of way,
Go on.
like a historical reference to something that was awful. I don't think it would have much of part of modern life the same way. Really, I think it kind of cuts
And
both
you're
ways.
saying
They've kept
Huckleberry
it around
Finn-
in some ways. you know?
Huckleberry Finn is your
Yeah, Tom Sawyer. Yeah, whatever.
that was your other encounter with the word for the first time. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, definitely not. But that's like one of the definitive pieces of literature that has that word in it. You know. And,
Did you read that book as a young individual?
I
you
was
just-
supposed to. I didn't really do what I was supposed to as a kid. I didn't do my homework or anything. But yeah, I was supposed to.
Okay. Did you discover, even though you were supposed to read the book, did you know that that word was in the book?
No, I only knew about that example as an adult.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you, of course, grew up in Orange County in elementary school.
Very white. We had a black person maybe every other grade in my school. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to really think, like, when was the first time I was really encountered that word? Well, I don't know if this is the first time, but in middle school, they made us watch Roots with OJ. And I was way more outraged by the OJ part than the slave part. I was like, how are you showing us this? Like, this dude's a murderer. But that was just me at the time. It was very powerful. I'm glad I saw Roots. I don't need to ever see it again, but it was very powerful. Like 12 Years a Slave is also so powerful. Oh man, I cried. I can never watch it again, but it was so powerful. You know.
See, I don't really like those kind of movies.
Why would you, man? I don't
And-
like them either. It's
And
intense.
because, in a way, that I don't really like those movies, in a way, I don't really, like the word.
yeah. Look,
But I can't
Yeah.
sit here and say that I've never used the word in my music.
yeah.
And
Well, just sonically, this is funny, but sonically, it's a good word. You know what I mean by that?
no, and I think that's a very risky thing to say.
Yeah, but risk is okay in life, you know? I'm just saying it rhymes with a lot of things.
It's
That's
not
all I'm saying.
risk isn't okay when race is the subject and there's an opportunity to offend someone. Then risk isn't okay.
But by that logic, we shouldn't have this conversation at all, right?
I think we should have this conversation because it's 2020 and the word is used in music and a lot of people have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
But it's just such a delicate word. You can't say sonically it sounds really pleasing.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said it rhymed with a lot of stuff.
Well, hopefully they don't edit us that you said that.
Who's they? You mean you?
No, I mean, if this is raw, which it always is,
Yeah.
a raw cut, there's a chance, depending on what you said, they can use it against us in the long run. Or you.
Who is they?
Who knows? I'm just saying. It's whatever you paraphrase.
I don't believe in this Big Brother nonsense. Man. That's not,
I'm not
just to change the subject. I don't live in fear. That's how the terrorists win, you know? I just do me, and
I don't mean
I try to adapt as I go along.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, but
I'm
I'm
just saying.
switching the subject. I'm transitioning here because we did that. It was cool. It was interesting. But
A little too heated.
no, not heated at all, man. I love your perspective. You have, I think, one of the more extreme perspectives on the scale. I think I'm probably far too casual about it all, right? Just that's the balance.
Maybe, but at the same time, maybe that's not your fault that you're too casual about it. Maybe it's because of where you grew up.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've seen where I grew up. You met my family. Like, They're just pretty casual. I don't know. Like there was a lot of jokes in my house, and there really is not like a drop of racism. There just isn't. But yeah, like just nothing is taken that seriously in my house. That's just the truth.
Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of other houses where
Oh, I know.
things are taken seriously.
But see, but that's where I get myself in trouble because I always come from a place of love. I mean, like my whole childhood, all I cared about was like rap music and the NBA. You know, like I didn't care about sailing and the yacht club or polo. You know, I was only into quote unquote like African American things. You know, and
well,
yeah, I guess it's just
majority
fun.
of America is into African American things.
But not wealthy white people. That's the difference, you know. Their
Yeah.
kids are, but yeah, like
Yeah.
they just aren't. Like, but yeah.
So what do you think about your kids? You think your kids are going to be interested in African American things?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to have kids, first of all. But to the extent that I do, I'm extremely musical. Like, not in terms of creation, but like every day is marked by music for me. So my kids are gonna, if I have kids, they're gonna grow up with a lot of music around them all the time. Because like I can't function without it. You know, like the name of this podcast is not ironic. Like literally, the music and my mental health are so closely intertwined. Like I need it, you know, and so I would assume that they would like music, you know, and listen to a lot of music. But who knows?
I'm really happy that you are waking up listening to jazz. That's your
Well, you
first
taught me that,
conscious
man. Yeah.
effort. But it just makes me really happy.
Well, you know what I used to
'Cause
do in
then
the morning?
I don't have to wake up in the morning and put jazz on.
Put jazz on.
You already put it on.
Well, I was just trying to wake you up in a nice way today, but well, what I used to do is I immediately would wake up and put the news on, if I'm being honest. And it was like my background noise, and you know, I would make coffee and do my emails and stuff, and then I thought, you know, this is a lot of negativity that's coming into my life early in the morning. And there's a time for news, and I don't know that I need to start my day that way. I know a lot of people start their day that way, but I just I don't know. It's kind of
Well, it's important to be informed.
yeah, but just
You know?
not in that. I think there's like a crucial 2 hours from the time you wake up, and those 2 hours mean a lot. They contribute to mental health. I think they can be some of the most productive hours that we have. They can offer the most focus in those couple hours. So I try to be not completely but semi-protective. Like think about we've done a lot in the first part of this day, you know? Like we woke up, we were ready to go, we did a lot of things already, you know? I like that. That makes me feel good to be productive.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But in a way, you can't really go outside until you know what's going on in the world. You need to be informed.
Yes. Well,
So you should make a conscious effort to look at what's happening in the world.
but see, the thing is, I believe I'm overinformed. Like we're inundated with this stuff, and I am all over my phone.
And when I
Like,
say
know
that,
what's
I don't mean top of the morning, like first thing you do. Like you said, take the first 2 hours to accomplish what you want. The first 2 hours of your day should be spent meditating, exercising, planning, visualizing, praying, or whatever you need to do to motivate yourself to push you forward for the day, because these are your initial thoughts. This is what you need to do. That's why I love working in the morning. I find myself most creative in the morning because at night I get tired.
So let's
when I get tired, my creativity shuts down
yeah.
because my system shut down. So I need rest, and when my gas tank is 100% because of rest and food, I am able to do great things, you know. But sometimes there's struggle that creates different types of creative energy that you can really use to your advantage. And that could be emotional struggle. That can be a hunger struggle. Potentially a thirst. Maybe not a thirst. When you need water, you need water. When you need a beverage, you need a beverage. But, you know,
How are you doing currently? How's your current mental health?
my current mental health is in good condition. Quite expansive in terms of new experiences and information and emotions coming in. I think it's generating new feelings and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Very unique, but they're all positive feelings and emotions
Yeah.
that are definitely inspiring me and pushing me to.
But sometimes a lot of positivity at once can be sort of overwhelming.
Oh yeah,
Like I would say I'm experiencing that too. There's a lot of really good things happening in my life, and I feel really good. I'm in a really good place. But yeah, it still can be, even when everything's good, it can be overwhelming, right?
in 2017, somewhere late April, very early May. I can't remember the day, but there was a. We were watching a documentary that my buddy created, and I had to go outside because it was the first time I had seen my family since my feature with Bob was released,
Mm-hmm.
and the video was attached with
Mm-hmm.
the release. And
This is before or after Jimmy Kimmel?
this is before. I'm pretty sure it's definitely before Jimmy Kimmel. We were
Jimmy
watching
Kimmel,
this.
cool dude, or did you? Meet
Yeah,
him?
he was very cool.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Seems like a nice guy.
Cool cat.
Yeah.
So we were watching the documentary, right? And this was, sometime before that. And this was the first time I saw my family in a long time. And I just remember being incredibly overwhelmed with positive energy because they were so proud and I was so proud also to kind of like open my arms and embrace them, give them a hug, and just enjoy the moment with them. My little brother Sheldon was there, and my older brother was there with his girlfriend, and my Uncle Ray and Aunt Lorna were there, and just the sight of them was very it was a huge moment for me, a huge milestone. Wow, okay, this just happened. And it was so much energy that when the documentary started, at this point I had seen a couple times. There's a documentary on iTunes, Everybody, the documentary. You can watch it I guess you buy it on iTunes or have Apple Music. But anyways, like I said, I'd seen the documentary at this point, and I'm watching the film, and at the top of the film, I have to get up and leave the movie theater because, I just had a moment with my little brother. I'm pretty sure I was in tears, I think, if I remember correctly. And there was so much internal energy and just thoughts and ideas coming in, just racing like crazy, that I had to go outside and do some push-ups in this movie theater.
Get some energy out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had way too much energy inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know where to put it, And the only place I could put it is by physically, you know.
Well, it sounds like you had a very good response to that, which is to do push-ups, which is a good thing. A lot of people, you know, they do crazier things with that energy. They're like, I don't know, all kinds of different shit.
Well, I guess in my college days, I guess I knew something about testosterone. Did I say that right?
Testosterone? Yeah.
Testosterone. I can't remember if I said that right or not. Yeah, man. I just know when there's too much going on, and it's got to go somewhere. And you know that can be from stage or the gym. You know,
And
you never know. Like
when you have that much energy, when you have that feeling, can you be creative? Can that be channeled, or it's just too much?
Well, I actually thought in that moment one of the greatest tweets, in my opinion, that I ever tweeted, which was OMG, I met Bob on the WWW, the World Wide Web.
Yep.
And of course, at the time,
What was
Black
your first
Spider-Man
interaction?
was
How
my
did
symbol.
that happen? The first interaction
What's that?
over the internet with Bob.
It was through Facebook. A message
Got it.
sent in 2009 or something.
You sent it to him. He sent it to you.
He sent me a message.
He sent you a message. What did that message say?
It was like, yo, check me out. Check out my my remix. He did a remix.
Of your shit.
No.
Oh.
He did a remix of a Drake song, I think.
And why did he send it to you?
Because in that day, that was a very smart move
But you were...
to just send music out.
Got it. So he
on
was
the
just
internet.
trying to push his music to people.
Bob is a genius, and definitely a genius of the internet.
Yeah.
Especially, as you know, I mean, it's just a very
And
smart man.
what was his rap name then? Was it
Psychological.
Psychological? Not Young Sinatra. That wasn't a thing yet. Psychological.
He had ideas about Frank Sinatra
Rap
for sure.
type stuff. Yeah. Got it. Cool.
How's your mental health, brother?
I'm really good, man. You know, my life has changed pretty dramatically in a pretty short amount of time. One, just the move to LA, which, you know, has been several months now, but then just kind of shifting and starting to work more with you, which has really been a blessing and so much fun. But some other really good things going on too, and just my other businesses and in real estate and my other podcast is doing really well. And for better or worse, my mental health does too closely fit what's tangibly going on in my life. And so when things are going well, my mental health is like unbelievable. So yeah, I'm in a really good place and very thankful for that. And thankful for my new life and having a good time, having fun. Yeah.
Yeah, life is very fun if you
do it right.
allow it to be fun. If you find the fun in it.
You got to find the joy. If Eric was here, he would say, find the joy.
And there's joy in everything.
Yep.
Eric is your roommate. And he's out walking on the beach right now, which
Yep.
is a very joyous thing to do. That's one thing I haven't had the opportunity to do in LA, and that's skate.
Been working, man.
Man,
There's a lot going on. Priorities. We got to come for. You'll come for longer next time. Come for a couple weeks, and then we can go to the skate bowl in Venice.
and here he is.
Speak of the devil, we were just talking about you.
I would say speak of the angel at
Yeah,
this
not
point.
that you're the devil, but
Here he is on set.
We're past 30 minutes here.
I think we should keep it going. Let's keep it going.
We can. Let's roll another joint, maybe.
All right. Let's roll another joint. E, you want to jump in for B?
Yeah, you can. Be yeah. help with the weed, or we could just bong rip too if you're willing to service it.
Let's roll one up.
I know you like weed, dog. You like the jointy joints.
That's my.
Can we talk about another
recommendation.
sensitive subject?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Actually, you don't fit this example perfectly.
Yeah.
But I do find that not just black people, non-white people in general, really like to roll things. They like really don't like the bong very much. I mean, I've noticed this, like Indian people and like all the white bros I know, they're like, yeah, dog, like let me hit that glass, like loan me a bowl. All like the surfer bros, you know? And then like all the other ethnicities, like they want me to roll things. What do you have any? I'm not asking you to speak for all ethnicities everywhere, but do you have any thoughts on that topic?
Well, to be honest, I think bongs are a white man's invention.
Okay. Why? I mean, I don't know if that's true. I don't even know who invented the bong. I'd like to know.
Like I said, I think I can't confirm that.
Okay, but take away the roots of it. Like, do you really prefer joints to bongs that much?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But I've seen you smoke a bong a lot of times, man. I mean, we smoked a lot of bowls together, but forever, a long time, you know.
Yeah, it's just bongs are.
But for example, the homie Marvin.
It's a different high.
For example, the homie Marvin. He's like all but upset. Like, why don't you want to roll a joint? Like, this is a nice moment. I'm like, dude, like, I don't know. The bong is great. Like, I get high as balls, and it's really efficient. If you have great weed and you roll it up, you burn a lot. It just goes away. I like joints too, but you know. Anyway,
Joints are more tribal. Joints are more
communal, social. You're right. You're
family
right.
based.
You're right. There's
And
no doubt about that.
when you're having a conversation with another individual, there's nothing better than, passing around something that you're all sharing together.
Yeah. But
And
see, I
you
kind of
can't necessarily do that as efficiently with glass because you have to reload it. So,
yeah, I can't deny any.
Plus, I think personally, the whole process of rolling something up is spiritual in a sense, and also very nice.
I would call it cathartic. I'm not sure it's spiritual.
Well, it's a
therapeutic.
part of the community.
Uh-huh.
It's part of the culture.
Look, I can't deny any of that. What I generally kind of think of is like, if there's minimum 3 people, I'll roll something. If it's 2 people, like Eric and I, who's second shout out on this episode. We sit and we just play video games. We just hit the bong, man. Like, it's just 2 of us. It works great. But I agree. When it's a group, it is a nice thing, although not very hygienic. And I'm wondering if we're all getting coronavirus by sharing joints at Emerald Cup and all these crazy big weed conventions. But this isn't investing in cannabis, so let's move onward. Let's go back to the music, man. What else are you listening to?
Well, last episode I mentioned Cat Power, Love and Communication. I said it was a 90s song. It's actually a song from, I believe, 2004 or 2003.
Okay.
But I said everything right. It is Cat Power, Love and Communication. Great song.
What are you looking for, Eric?
Besides that, what have I been listening to?
Here.
My
bad.
Portos.
Terrible throw. That was a goddamn Jimmy G throw. But that's no exception. There's always pressure. Life's full of pressure.
Well, thank goodness for Eric's positive perspective.
Thank goodness for Eric.
He was able to blame the microphone and no one else in the room. See, that's
I was blaming myself.
but you shouldn't blame yourself.
Why, man? I think that's healthy.
No, it's not.
Look, if you have the confidence and ego that I do, it's very healthy to be self-aware of those
There's
things.
someone I know that blames himself very much, and it's too much. And I want this individual to stop putting so much, energy on oneself, because it's not always a good move. And I think it's actually rarely a good move, because what happens is when you blame yourself for stuff, it's slowly building up on you. It's slowly becoming weight on your back or your shoulders or your legs, and it's slowing you down, and eventually you find yourself sitting in a room with all of this attached to your weight as baggage, and now that's inhibiting you from really keeping your head up and seeing a positive perspective within the room, and recognizing that you're not a problem. You're not one to necessarily be blamed for multiple things that you've held on to, because you think a situation's going to get better if you just take the credit for all of the problems that happened in it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't always work. It might be a quick way out of a situation. A lot of people just don't want to deal with confrontation.
Yep.
And unfortunately, in life, you have to deal with confrontation sometimes.
I want to respond to that, but I got an idea. Do you want to stop it, change clothes?
Let's respond first, and then we'll stop it. Take a break. Change clothes.
I'm saying like we could do another episode. I think that should be the first point in the second episode.
I think you should just answer it while we're here, and then we'll stop it.
Say it again.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I said.
I mean, kind of. You said a lot of things.
You said you wanted to blame yourself.
I just think
I
it's
mean,
all depends.
I know we were
I'll
only...
respond to it. I think it's all a matter of perspective. Most people do blame themselves too much. For me, I know that I have such deep confidence that I have to sort of like tone it down. And one of the ways that I do that is by when I make a mistake, because everybody makes mistakes, I try to own it, because it's like just a little bit of humble pie, and I need that. I just need that, I just naturally am feeling myself. So I need that to just like sort of be grounded, I suppose. But yeah, some people like really beat themselves up forever about stuff. And that's really bad. It's really unhealthy, because what you're doing, aside from making yourself feel worse, is it's a total productivity drain. If you're thinking all the time, oh, that was my fault, I can't believe that happened, I don't want that to happen again, it's almost assured that it's going to happen again. Because you're not preparing, you're not setting yourself up well. You gotta be in the flow state. You gotta do what you can do and do what's within your capabilities, and do it well, and feel in flow, in the groove. There's a lot of ways to describe that, but yeah.
Yeah, man. You don't want to pick a card and always play that card, because then you'll be expected to take those penalties, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You'll create the expectation or the magnetism of pulling the whatever, you may have blamed yourself for in the past. You'll naturally take the blame for it in the future.
And just naturally as humans, we we remember so much vividly the bad things that happen. 90 good things can happen and 10 bad things can happen. And you will remember the 10 things so much more explicitly and so much more powerfully than they actually were in the moment. Humans have a way of, they're very critical, very critical of themselves.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we recognize that as we go forward.
And we have the ability to express it.
Yes, well, that's
get it out of your head,
to
because
get it out of there. Do push-ups.
Yeah. Yeah. Or talk.
Talk. Yeah.
A vocal exercise.
Yep.
Is just as well. I mean, in that situation that I was talking about, that buildup of energy, that's something completely different. But in a situation where one is holding a lot of credit for negative baggage, expressing that vocally
it's helpful.
is very helpful, almost more helpful than physical
I agree.
Exercise in that moment. Because what I'm saying is, you need to get all of these ideas that you got in a box in your head. You need to take the box out of your head. Then you need to open the box and put everything out on the table for, hopefully you and someone that you trust to discuss. Because no matter what, like you said, humans are so critical. The problem is, we're so critical of ourselves, we don't have any room to judge what we're critical about. But nevertheless, I still firmly believe that we should all be our own toughest critics. But the only critic we need is ourself. That's the only critic you need. But it's important to balance that criticism and that critic, the only you, with too much blame, with too much.
Well, there's a difference. You can identify the tangible, constructive criticism that you have for yourself, but it's a different thing to obsess over that. Right? So, like, you should compartmentalize it. You should say, okay, this person said they didn't like what I said in this meeting, right? That this 2 or 3 things were inappropriate to say. Now, there's 2 ways to look at that. You can be really emotional about it and be like, fuck that person, they don't know. Or you can say, okay, well, obviously they had a good reason for telling me why I shouldn't have done that. And look at it as a whole. Was most of it productive? Did most of it go well? Yes. Okay. Well, then, of course, there's always room for improvement. There's always things to get better at. And that's just the way that I try to operate. Now, at some point, it can go too far, and the person that you're working with or the project you're working in just has more bad than good. And you have to know when to cut that off, too. But mostly, you just have to take in the information like a computer. Don't be emotional about it. Don't react. Don't whatever. Just take it and just do your best to try to incorporate, because being a team, being a part of an organization, any relationship is about compromise and meeting people in the middle. That's the only way to be successful. Ask any business person. You don't go in and say, like, I'm doing it like this. It just doesn't work that way, And it's just very important that we not take these things so seriously, but at the same time use them constructively,
Yeah. I mean, also, just to flip that coin, I think you do need to take everything seriously. If you want the outcome of anything to be what you envision it to be, which is hopefully, something that was actually accomplished and said and done, a creation, then, hopefully you're taking it seriously. You know, whether that be work or romance or
Friendship.
friendship.
Yeah. Friendships take work, you know?
Yeah.
I don't mean like an acquaintance. Like, yeah, you know a lot of people. If you saw them somewhere, you'd shake their hand. But I mean, like actual friendships, first of all, you can't have that many because
can't.
it takes
Not
a
enough
lot
time.
of work. Yeah,
You ever play The Sims?
of course.
The Sims was great. You know, The Sims, it's fun to play The Sims when you're like 13, 14 years old and you get to like kind of simulate like
What? 13 or 14, man. Yeah, it's on to play right now.
What about SimCity, dude?
I haven't played The Sims in a minute, man.
Well, you better get on your phone.
Dude, what about SimCity? I like SimCity where you can design a whole fucking community.
SimCity's dope. SimCity's where it all started. You know, it's that simulation, right?
Can we do 5 minutes on video games? Because you and I both, I know this isn't about video games, but you and I have such a passion for video games.
Yeah, Liz, you want to talk about video
Just
games?
a bit, yeah.
SimCity.
You know, video games is
The
kind of this
Sims.
like consistent constant in my life that like I don't even really need to talk about. I don't even really need to like express to the world. It's just like my sort of little happy place, and it instantly makes me feel like a kid again, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Like it's all enveloping, and I play all kinds of video games. I play a lot of sports games, Madden, 2K, whatever, but also I love Call of Duty. I'm pretty decent at Call of Duty. I'm not bad. And then if any big game comes out, like I've been playing Fallen Order, I don't love those kind of games, but it just got such incredible reviews that, you know, I've been playing that. Red Dead was really fun. That's great too. But I'm playing Madden and 2K and Call of Duty. I mean, minimum 5 days a week.
Red Dead Redemption 2 was fantastic.
Fantastic.
It was definitely one of the highlight entertainment experiences of my 2018 going into early 2019.
Yeah.
Definitely really, really enjoyed that.
It actually, this is funny because it's such a violent, sort of degenerate type game, but it actually played a really important part in my mental health at the time because I happened to be very depressed at the time where I was playing that game, and I really couldn't do anything else. But it was such an escape and so good and so all-encompassing that it allowed me to, just escape and just like maybe for, God, I don't know, like 2 weeks, literally all I did was play that game and like eat. That was it. Because I was so fucking depressed that I just like wanted to live in a different world for a while. You know?
That's what's
somewhere else.
so amazing about video games in terms of mental health. The exercises that you get to take and role playing, a simulation, you know, The Sims, you know, i.e., or SimCity. You know, building your own city or being a cowboy in the Wild West and having no consequences
for your actions.
Yeah.
It's a place to get all your whims out, you know, do whatever crazy nonsense you want to do, you know.
And what's interesting about those games is you could do it in a dark way or you could do it in a positive way.
Yep.
And if you do it in a dark way at this point, it's so graphic that you feel bad.
It's actually dark. It's not a game. Like it's it's
like
intense.
you
especially in
wanna be a
that
good
game.
person.
I mean, you can kill whoever you want. You can rob whoever you want.
Yeah.
I was kind of delighted to see that they didn't make like sexual assault a part of it because that would be a thing too. Terrible. But I'm really excited for
Definitely
GTA 6.
Oh yeah, they're working on that.
Oh yeah, it's going to be the next generation. It's going to be on PS5.
Oh, that's incredible. I also really love Fallen Jedi.
Fallen Order, yeah.
Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Star Wars, the new joint.
You played it a
third
lot,
person.
right? Did you finish it?
I'm almost finished with it.
Yeah.
But there's an escape that's incredible also. The role-playing fantasy of being a Jedi rolling through
Especially if you like Star
worlds.
Wars.
Oh, man, I love Star Wars.
Geez, like,
Come on. But that's that escape, you know. Another great game, which a lot of people are sleeping on, Death Stranding.
Yeah.
You want to talk about an escape? You want to talk about going somewhere? You want to talk about being somewhere else? You need to burn one down and turn the TV on.
Speaking of
turn
burning
the
one
lights
down, what's
off,
going on with that busy over there?
and
that busy mom?
watch that project. Brandon's trying to end the podcast.
I'm just saying, how long are these
What's our
podcasts
time,
gonna
Doctor?
be? 55 minutes.
It's 55?
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about video games for 5 minutes?
No, we did. Let's go play some video games.
So it's fading out.
I think it's happening. I think what we should do is we should smoke. We should hang out for a little while. Let's change clothes, and we could do another episode right now.
All right, cut it.